Hello, everyone. I want to talk today about happiness. What is beyond happiness? And the ego says, "Oh, we're going to learn about what's happier than happy." And maybe a better description of it is that what is prior to happiness. I am happy. I am sad. It's the same as that is good, that is bad. Not trying to rhyme there, by the way. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and there's something that's something that's kind of cool that's easy to even explain to children. I explain this to my kids, and it's when there's something that we want, whether it's an event, a thing, a relationship, whatever, anything outside. We want that thing, and I talk to them and explain to them, like, when you really, really want a toy and we go and we buy it, and we say you can't open it until you get home from the store, there's so much excitement about it. The feeling of happiness that happens once you have it is for that short amount of time, you stop wanting. And then thoughts come up, oh, well, it's just this thing, and it comes up with more desires. So that brief period of time of not wanting is what we think, or what we don't, some don't understand and don't realize this, but that's what creates this quote unquote happiness. And really it's just a not wanting. So I explain this to my kids, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." And I would go, "So we're not going to buy any more toys." They didn't believe me or like that. But that's the ego coming in and being like, "Okay, I totally get that, but there's things that I want." My vision board has stuff on it. It doesn't have nothing. It's not in this desireless state. And my voice keeps cracking. But happiness and sadness, they're just thoughts. They're just labels. I'll put a quote in the description by Nisargadatta Maharaj. In I Am That, there's this great chapter. All search for happiness is misery. And there's so many good little nuggets in that chapter that talk about this pursuit of happiness. I mean, the pursuit of happiness is threaded into the culture of the United States. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And you're welcome to pursue happiness, but it always ends up being something outside of you. And it never ever lasts. Think of the last time that you found happiness in something. And if you're honest with yourself and you think of how long it lasted, it wasn't very long until something else arose. What it appears that we're looking for, and I'm always trying to be somewhat careful to make claims about what it is that we want. But it's not so much happiness, it's peace. It's that state of not wanting, that desireless state. I can tell you my vision board, I don't have one, but I can tell you that it's completely blank. Not through logical thinking of well, it just makes more sense. I'll be happy if I don't want these things. It's just whatever happens. This is it. What is what's happening. And if there is a desire that comes up, I want that, I want this, I want that. Those are just thoughts. There's no reason to try to get rid of them or talk yourself out of having them. But happiness, what is beyond happiness. And joy can arise. as can sadness. Everything is allowed because it's all one thing. It's all this. So there's nothing wrong with happiness. There's nothing wrong with sadness. But they're all what's happening in consciousness. Man, the ego does not like the title of that chapter, All Search for Happiness is Misery, because so much of the story hinges upon us, looking for happiness, wanting not just, some people say, I don't even want happiness, I just don't want to be sad anymore. But that desire to be something other than what is the misery that's being talked about in the title of that chapter. Full acceptance of what is freedom, is peace, is happiness, contentment, just being is what is. That's the default setting. That's the default state. If something makes you happy, there's nothing wrong with that. But there's a deeper understanding and a knowing that the thing isn't what it is that makes you happy. It's a great opportunity to observe the list. Observe the list of wants and desires. And the ego actually does it's so good at, and it doesn't exist, by the way. The ego is just a thought or a bundle of thoughts. Still, it's so good at trying to make these cases to get back on this treadmill. So it will say things like, thoughts will arise like, okay, I get it, I don't need all this stuff to be happy. But then it will slide in needs. But I gotta eat. I gotta eat, I need a roof over my head. So it starts sliding in needs. And it's a slippery slope because it takes those needs and then all of a sudden you're back into this wanting and the desire for these other things. I need shelter, so I might as well want and have a large house, which may or may not be a good example. But so much of this pursuit of happiness has to do with this desire for more. And there can't be more. You're already whole. What you are is already whole. That's it. That's it. There's just a recognition that of that fact, of that truth. And some people don't like that word truth. I don't care because I don't not like any words. There's no reason to not like words. What's the point in that? That's just more desire I desire to not hear that word. I desire to not use that word. All words are welcome because everything's accepted. Everything's included in consciousness, in what is, in the absolute. Pursue happiness if you want to. Realize that the pursuit of it doesn't last, because if it can come to you, it can go. What you truly are is that which doesn't come and doesn't go. It's always there. It never decays. It's never lost. And in many ways, if you want to look at it and define it as happiness, that is true happiness. But happiness, that implies a duality, that implies sadness. But that's what is. That's the ultimate freedom. Acceptance of what is. With happy thoughts arising, sad thoughts, everything is allowed. Everything is what is.